Alright, this is going to be our engine bay portion of the video. We like to go through and check on the condition of hoses. These belts are kind of on the wrong side for these engines, just kind of how they're operating. Your AC here, drivetrain on this side, right? And then transmission below. So your belt is under this cover and just goes through here. Now, I don't see like concerns, like these are insulators. The hose itself is in good shape. You kind of see like a little bit of wear, a little bit of ballooniness on the hoses, but nothing looks like it's degrading or anything like that. Just something to keep a close eye on over time on these cars, right? This is already 15 years old. Your oil filter is down there, so this is like a quick release. This probably gets moved a lot. That's probably why the hoses are all kind of jammed in there a little bit. Fluid a little lower than I would like to see after the drive. That should be more towards the top. Cooling looks great. It looks like they did kind of wipe this down and silicone it to clean it up really well. You look down below, you can see this wasn't like a more dirty climate. So definitely kind of just get that undercarriage sprayed out really well. But they did a pretty good job overall. The inside looks great. I'll show you that here in a minute. One thing also, we look at these crash rails. None of these bolts or anything look like it's ever been messed with or twisted. These pinch welds all look great. They don't look like they've been messed with either. This one's harder to see on camera. I don't know if you'll be able to. It's just down under that tube there, running along here. Crash rails look great. None of these bolts look like they've been messed with or anything. Same with the painted ones, so all looks really, really good. Battery's newer. Engine bay checks out great. These 5 cylinders are really fun to drive. Or this one's a 6. I thought it was one of the 5s. But this is a great little car. Plenty of pickup. I'm gonna move on here. Alright, we're going to move around the exterior on the Volvo today. Honestly, this car for the age and mileage looks great. There's no real nicks or scratches or anything. I only found, like, it's hard to see on here. See if I can get the ripple there, that dimple, a little dent. PDR will get that out easily. Everything's lined up. Panel gaps are good. I do see like some overspray here, so like the hood might have been touched up, or that could be oxidation. All the white on the plastics, it's from when the detailers did their wax. I think on dealerships they really just kind of hustled through the detail process, and the wax is the most time consuming portion, right? So when it touches the plastics, it's not really noticeable when they're first doing it, but like you'll see on the edges here, right, that's wax. I can peel it out with my fingers. I don't know if you can see that. So it's not like overspray, it's just from the sling of the gun or disc they were using, right? But like I said, nothing really as far as damage. This is really easy enough to get off, just some elbow grease. So you'll see it on like the body lines. I went through and I smudged it all to make sure we don't have any scratching or anything like that. But car looks pretty good. Whenever I'm looking at exterior stuff, I always like to look in here. See how that's all factory looking. It doesn't look like any of this has been turned, touched, or any of the paint's been changed. It's a good sign the doors and everything have been left alone. I always check on these. If there's ever like overspray or tape lines, it's been painted. You can tell this one hasn't been touched. You can still see Volvo clear as day on there. So all the way around, clean, like that. All right, so we're gonna do the undercarriage on the front here first. Kind of hard to see with the lighting, but it has like the fabric splash guard on there still, so you can't see much, right? I did note there's a little bit of like residue or staining on there. You can kind of see the difference in color on that. I didn't see any active leaks or anything wet, but just something that caught my eye. We're gonna move to the corners here. All right, so on the corners, we're looking at our lift points, make sure they're not all crushed in, and that's gonna be our floor pan, body, frame, and everything there. You can also see our catalytic converters, cross members, suspension. I'll give you a good view on the tires in the back there. Move to this other corner. So this is gonna be your other lift point. And it's gonna be your fuel tank, skid plate, and everything there. And then your drive line and exhaust going through there. Looks good. Nothing bent, nothing peeling, nothing hanging, nothing sagging. We're gonna move to the back. You can kind of see the whole frame and everything. All right, so this thing has heat shields all over it, but that's gonna be your frame rail going back, muffler, That's going to be your suspension and everything there. Tire tread looks great as well. But it's amazing how much heat shields are under here. The road's very quiet driving down the road, so they do their fair share of sound deadening. There we go, we got some good focus. You can kind of see the whole body line there. Move over here. Same story. Muffler, tailpipe, suspension and everything. This is all-wheel drive. Looks really, really good. Tires are newer. I did get DOT pictures and everything for you. Here's going to be your right rear or passenger rear lift point. Little bit of dirt on this side. See, that's what I was saying. It might have been in like just a dirty climate or something. Rough roads, who knows? But it's honestly in pretty good shape. And then this here is our last corner. Nothing crushed, nothing bent. Looks really good. Kind of see over here some more suspension stuff. Steering and everything looks really good. Nothing wet in there. That's what we like to see. And that's your catalytic converter on the exhaust side there. That's going to be our undercarriage. Really good. I don't see any surface stress or anything. That's what I like to see. All right, this is going to be the interior portion. Current mileage was 126,192. Like to show the wheel, steering wheel controls all work as intended. This does have some phone options on here. You can even dial out from here, which is kind of cool. Infotainment is pretty simple. Instead of a backup camera, you just have radar on here, which does work. Kind of starts yelling at you. Climate and everything work as intended. Heated seats work really, really good. Try to do this without too much issue. So sunroof works really good. Opens and closes. I got the tilt there. It started raining. Close that. Open that. I'm going to stop it so we don't get rained in. This is being one of those things that I was talking about on the notes. It's just kind of like not lined up. You can kind of see the edge of the headliner here. But overall, checks out. Auto windows, door locks, auto windows up and down. I didn't do the left rear all the way up and down because there's paper in there and it started yelling at me. Lights are not automatic, but it does have quite a bit of options. I did figure out that the power liftgate option works. You just got to hold it. And then with the trigger on the back, when I do my conclusions, I'll kind of show you guys how that works as well. I was playing with the key and figured that one out. We're going to open up all the doors here and just give you a better view of the seats and everything. All right, so we got that light tan leather interior. Here's our memory seats I found. I kind of set it to mine, moved it, and it went back without any issues there. So the code that we found, I think, is going to be low voltage related. Just keep an eye on something like that. Play with all three. See if you can get it to mess up. I didn't get it to. Carpets and everything look really good. Light tan, so you kind of see a little bit of stains over time, but underneath, looks like those mats have always been there. I do like, it's kind of like a alligator leather. You can kind of see some cracking on this seat over time, but nothing is just kind of like stress. Nothing ripped or torn. None of the other seats are really showing that. Back here, really good shape. I always mess with these, make sure they're tight, not falling off. All this stuff works. That's your hinge. This opens up here. Pull pretty hard, and then there's cup holders and storage. I love that. I think that's super cool. Boom. And then this headrest pops up and down. Fold. Pretty cool. Hop over to the other side here. Door cards here in really good shape. Always like to highlight those. Both sides here. Back seats look like they were rarely ever used. Look really good. They're really, really fluffy, really plush, really soft still, right? Not hard or brittle. Very good. Power seats both sides. Heated seats both sides. This does have the glove box. It's empty. And then there's a cool little pocket here. Kind of just put some extra stuff. That's gonna conclude the interior. Really straightforward. Everything works as intended. Very clean, very nice. All right, we're moving on to the trunk portion here. They did a really good job detailing this. I love when they do the design so you can see they took the time. This does have the privacy sheet here. You can slide over. It does have these storage locks here. These little hooks here pop up, slide, they all work as intended. On these you can actually pop them out all together. I don't know why you would. This has a, so that kind of like stops your load from sliding forward, or you know, kind of meshes it in there. You can hang stuff from here. The straps just to kind of secure it if need be for bags. That locks up, it's stiff, so I love that. That's really cool. This here, it's gonna have like a hood strut essentially. It's not holding the weight of this. I don't know if it's just because it's cold. I had the heat on pretty good, but it's not keeping it up. So I'm gonna try and do this with one hand. Just bear with me. Here's all your storage stuff here, which is really cool. There's a little handle here. Pull this up. There's a hook here, which will hook onto that, and then the damper will hold all of this up, right? Here's your spare, your recovery, and the tools. And it looks like some like info is also still in there, which is awesome. Love when people just leave stuff where it's supposed to be. We also look at the pan, no moisture. All these little sealer strips look factory. Nothing's indifferent or inconsistent, and all the wiring looks really good as well under there. Let this all fall back into place like so. This is not a power assisted gate, but it does have like a electric lift button. Works as intended. Really good. I like it. Alright, so always do a code scan. We always make sure we have the right VIN for the car. As you see, we got some faults in here. Everything else passed as we want to see. I'm going to go through these. So the first one here is going to be about the driver door lock. I guess there's like an intermittent fault with that. And then with the engine control module, there was a thermostat, and the like temperature was too cold on range. And then a battery voltage as well with the power operated tailgate module. Not sure, I didn't ever get that to power. I thought it was just like an electric release. And then the power seat says it's intermittent with the memory, but I don't see any memory switches on the door or down below, so I don't know what that one's about. But they're intermittent, and with the low voltage and a new battery, I'm going to assume these are all mad because none of them are active or yelled at me during the drive or my inspection. That something like a dead battery or a jump start and then they replace the battery caused these to flip off. But I would just keep an eye on some of those things. Like I said, the door lock intermittent, seat intermittent, and then the other ones were just temperature, like coolant temperature range was too great. It was pretty cold last night. Everything was at least iced over at my house. I'm going to move on here and get the monitors just from the drive cycle. All right, these are going to be the monitors from the drive cycle. Everything checked out for the most part. We do have the oxygen sensor. Didn't finish its cycle or something like that. Basically, I try to do 10 miles or better. The car should have had enough time to get through that oxygen sensor. I'm not sure how long the car's been sitting. Again, could be partly due to that battery being replacement, that maybe some of these monitors have not been looked at in a while. But overall, this is good. This is what I like to see. Without any O2 codes, I'm not too worried about it. Usually that's something that'll set, especially under like getting on the freeway, stuff like that. We'll set that, and I didn't have any issues. So I'm going to move on here. All right, I'm going to start my conclusion with the vehicle here. 2010 XC70. This is all-wheel drive. Has an inline 6 laid out transverse. Plenty of power, plenty of get up. Drove really good on the highway. Lights and everything were great. Body also checked out really good. I did talk about some of the white areas with the wax and everything. As far as tires, they are brand new. I gave you DOT stickers and brand and all of that. No vibrations or anything like that. Car stops on a dime. Plenty of safety features being a Volvo. I did want to show you guys this. I figured out the power lift gate, so you just kind of pull the handle and step back. It's kind of a delay here, and then this button up here, actually push that and it'll close. I couldn't get it to close from the inside of the car, but that works without a hitch. Like I said, lights and everything work really good. Glass is all great. These have defrost in the sides. You can still see they're all factory glass, which is great. Sometimes aftermarket glass will give you issues, so one thing to always keep in mind. show you on this one here. Factory glass. Overall, this is a very clean car for being 10 years old already and 130,000 miles essentially. The one thing I was talking about during my drive, the transmission seemed a little sloppy when cold. Basically, it was just kind of getting hung up, a delay in the shift. It wasn't like dramatic. It didn't affect the car's momentum in proceeding forward. It just is noticeable, like you feel that shift. As it warmed up, it was less noticeable. With sport shift, it wasn't there at all. In normal drive, it's kind of lazy. I don't know how else to explain that, but I would just get that fluid checked. It's a sealed unit, so get the fluid checked. If it's in poor condition, service it. It's just probably about that time with mileage. Just with it being all-wheel drive, it's probably doing a lot more than a normal car would be doing. Top here looks great. Does have the factory racks. So in conclusion, I like it. Drove great. I'm a huge fan of the wagon, so I might be a little biased, but the all-wheel drive and a wagon with the space, kind of perfect in our area. Got enough power to go, but it has great economy, it seems, as well, at least on what I was seeing. So great little car.